Hey everyone, welcome to Average Joe Preparedness. My name's Rick, and I'm an Average Joe. Okay, today we're going to go over a few things, but the main topic we're going to talk about today are fire extinguishers. Rick, there's going to be a war, and there's economic problems, and prices are going up, and you want to talk about a fire extinguisher? Yes, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about fire extinguishers. Let me give you a couple numbers real quick. I got them right here. Over a 4-year period, I went on the internet and got this information. Now, this was caused by 173,000 fires, and that's in kitchens alone over a 4-year period. There were 550 deaths, 4,800 injuries besides the deaths, and it amounted in $1 billion in damage. Yes? So, what's probably going to happen and what is going to happen? Now, is it possible that there's going to be anarchy and World War III and civil disruptions and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, it's possible. But what's probable? What's probably going to happen before that, and I hate to say it, is there's probably going to be a fire in your kitchen. Among other places, but in your kitchen, that's what we're talking about. Yes, yes. And the numbers back it up. And that's what I do. I do numbers. That's what we talk about here, our numbers. What's probably going to happen. So, fire extinguishers. That's what we're going to talk about, and that's why. Yes, I know it's boring. I actually saw some content providers, the big ones, and they talk about that boring stuff doesn't get the views. Nobody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see the brah. And you know what? I don't care. So this is probably going to happen. And there's a lot of people out there that don't actually know how to use these and haven't been trained. So that's what we're going to talk about. Yes? Yes. Okay, I'd like to think that everyone out there has a fire extinguisher in their house, at least one. I hope that they have multiples. I hope they have one in their vehicles. I've shown you mine. I hope they have them in their houses. This is the kitchen. I actually took this one out of my kitchen just for this demonstration. That's what I hope. But then I have to do the math, and I have to do reality, and I have to do people. And odds are, some people don't. And I think that's silly. No offense, guys. I'm not trying to be a jerk here. But having a fire extinguisher is basic. This is basic preparedness that average people can do. You know what I'm saying? It eliminates the possibility for a whole bunch of things. It's 80-20. 20% of your effort going and getting a fire extinguisher, knowing how to use it. 80% of the initial problems that you might have, like a kitchen fire versus death and destruction and stuff. You with me? So I hope you guys can understand. I hope you're not going to hold it against me, but that's what we're doing. Yes? Yes. Okay, so let's talk about fire extinguishers. I'm going to use this one for demonstration purposes. Yes? So if you guys don't know, and all this information's out there, and I'm going to give you some places where you can go and look for information on fire extinguishers. There are different kinds of fires, and there's different kinds of fire extinguishers to put them out. And if you look right here, I don't know if we can see it, I'm hoping, A, B, C. Now there's 4, actually. This only covers 3. There's 4 types of fires. And for educational purposes, I wrote it down. A is wood and paper is basically it. It does other things, but it's basically easily combustible stuff that's around the house, like cardboard and cloth and whatever. But usually they say wood and paper. Then there's type number 2, which is B, and that's for liquids. It has to do with kitchens too, like grease, it's oil, more so it's like gasolines and the stuff. Yes, that's A and B. C, which this also covers, is electrical circuits. So electrical panels, computers, television, whatever. And the reason being, they have them divided and why there's different fire extinguishers, and we'll get to D in a second, is back in the day, I'm so old, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen them in TV or in real life if you're as old as me, but there used to be really huge silver cylinders, and basically they were filled with water. And the old ones you actually had to turn upside down. It was like a big water gun, and you squirted out fires. The problem with that is if you put on an electrical circuit, you're going to get electrocuted. So they really don't have those anymore. I haven't seen them in ages. And this type right here, which is the most common, which is ABC, these used to be rare, and now these are everywhere. So yes, these are the ones that usually most people have. Well, what about D, Rick? Don't you have one for D? And no, D are flammable metals, and I don't come in contact with those very often. Yes? Yes. So, most common fire extinguisher that you can get anywhere is ABC. Now, if you don't know how to use a fire extinguisher, and some people are like, well, that seems pretty simple, Rick. Well, yeah, it is. However, when something's happening and you're panicking and then you forget things. Yes? And that's why it's good to get trained on these. But anyways, I'm going to give you a really short thing. By the way, disclaimer. I'm not a fireman. I'm not a fire extinguisher training dude. I got nothing on nothing, guys. I'm just giving you my opinion here. I'm just giving you some information. You need to take it and do things with it. Yes? Make sure we're clear on that. Okay, you guys have probably heard it on TV, but how you use a fire extinguisher, they call it the pass method. And what you do is P is for pull. You pull this pin right here. So they're held in by certain things. A little plastic, it just breaks off. Pull is P. A is aim. You aim it at the base of the fire, not over the top of it, base of the fire. The next S is squeeze the handle. See, I have it written down, guys, so I don't mess this up. Squeeze this handle down. That discharges this. And then sweep from side to side. That's it. Pull, aim, push this down and sweep from side to side. Or squeeze this down. I'm going to mess up the acronym. And go from side to side. This will put out a fire. I didn't know that'll put out a fire, Rick. Well, I've had training on putting out fires in my former career. And they used to actually catch stuff on fire. We used to get these things and we used to actually have to go put it out. Yes? Yes. Okay, training. Now, you can check with your local Red Cross. You can check with your local fire stations. They may give the training, or you can go to online, OSHA. If you go OSHA fire extinguisher training, they have videos, they have written stuff, and they also have videos on how to do it. So it doesn't hurt to go and look. You're like, I can do that, Rick. Okay, I'm not telling you to do it. It's just a recommendation, and what it does is muscle memory. Now, it might be mental muscle memory because you're not actually doing this, you're watching videos, but hopefully, if something was to happen, it would be there, and you're like, oh yeah, I gotta do this first, and I gotta do that. Why? Because we just went over the numbers, didn't we? $1 billion in damage, 550 deaths. I think that might be worth it. It's up to you guys, but that was a 4-year period, so 100 people dying, each year over that. That's like 10 people dying a month. Some people might say it's not that big of a deal, but you know what? It's up to you. Yes? Yes. Okay, now they also have recommendations on where you should have fire extinguishers. And guess what the first recommendation is? Kitchen. You guys are right. Yes. Ding, ding, ding for those of you who got that one. Because for a normal person in a normal house, the most likely place that there's going to be a fire is in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, 173,000 of them in kitchens over a 4-year period. You guys with me? Okay. So the second one is by heating sources, like if you have a fireplace, on each floor, if you have multiple levels, in the garage, because that's where your cars are and you do work and stuff. And then finally in each bedroom. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people might listen to this. You guys aren't actually looking at it and go, well, that's a little bit of an overkill, Rick. And I'm not going to disagree. It's for each person to decide for themselves. These are recommendations. Hopefully, when it comes to like the kitchen or if you have a fireplace or out in your garage, that those make sense to you. Yes? Yes. Okay, and there we go. That's like fire extinguisher. This isn't training. This is just a video because, disclaimer, I am not a fire extinguisher training person. But hopefully I gave you some reasons why you might want to take it into account, some numbers that you can get off the internet. We went over the types of fire extinguishers that they are. Like I said, the ABC ones, they're the most common. You can get them anywhere, Walmart, Home Depot, they're every place. We went over real quick how you're supposed to use them, the PASS method, PASS acronym, and where you can get some potential training with the Red Cross, like I said, in your local fire department, or you can get it online. And then we went over where recommended places are for a fire extinguisher. Once again, I understand people would be like, this is boring, Rick. I want action. I want the zombie apocalypse stuff. And yeah, we can talk about it here in a second. Hey, how about if I do that? How about I move up to the zombie apocalypse? Yes, if you set through this law. Okay? Okay. Now, for just basic preparedness, I've shown you guys in other videos, I'm not putting it up there, I don't think, that I have fire extinguishers in my car. And I hopefully everybody does. I actually have multiples in mine. And I've just told you, I took this out of my kitchen. I have a fire extinguisher there. So you understand for basic preparedness there. And hopefully you guys can agree that everybody should have that. But let's move up the scale. Basic preparedness up to zombie apocalypse. I saw a video, it was a while back, and they were talking zombie apocalypse, and they were like, yeah, you need fire extinguishers. But the reason they said they needed fire extinguishers, or you needed fire extinguishers, was because when the golden horde comes to steal your rice and beans and they Molotov cocktail your house to try to burn you out, if you have fire extinguishers, you can save yourself. There. You guys want a zombie apocalypse? It was somebody else's video. I'm taking it and putting it in here. But there you go. That's why if you want zombie apocalypse, that's why you should have a fire extinguisher. Not the fact that you're probably going to have a fire, or someone will, in their kitchen. Yes? Yes. Okay, guys, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. This may seem, I'm trying to make light of it or fun or whatever. I try to do everything kind of funny. And you guys are like, man, we want to be prepared for stuff. And I get it. You're with me? I get it. But hopefully you can see that starting at the basics and building your way up is a good thing. Hopefully you can see that the basic stuff sometimes get lost in these big things. It doesn't matter that there's going to be a war. There's always going to be a war. It doesn't matter that the economy is terrible. There's a potential for the economy to always go terrible. It doesn't matter that, everything and all those things are probably going to, but you just start here and work your way up. Yes, it's just a recommendation, guys. Please, please. Okay. But with that, I hope this finds you well. I hope you were happy. I hope you were positive. And I hope, in this case, for fire prevention, you are being prepared.